Managing your time is hard, but it shouldn't be with the amount of tools that are available today. For years, I struggled to find a system that let me organise my life without costing a fortune on subscriptions or juggling 20 different apps at a time. In this video, I'm going to share the best app synergy that I found that improved my productivity, and I'm going to share it with you and can help you do the same. If you're new here, my name is Tom and I'm an engineering student on self-improvement while sharing everything that I learned along the way with you guys. So let's get into it. The problem I found was that so many YouTubers and productivity gurus were saying the power of using a calendar and a to-do list to organize your life in many ways. And there's truth in this, and it seemed to be working for all of them. They were on top of their organization, they were getting tasks done, and they were knowing what they were doing at each time during the day. So it should just be that easy then. You make a calendar and you write a to-do list, and then suddenly you should be completely productive, everything gets done, you got nothing else to worry about. The problem I found with a calendar was that I'd write things and tasks into it, but just completely forget to look at it during the day, as I had no way of kind of checking the tasks off as I was doing them. I even spent hours making these ideal weeks that many YouTubers talk about, but again, just to make it so it looked pretty and then never actually looked at or used again. And I had similar issues with a to-do list as well. So I started out on paper, writing out the specific tasks on what I needed to do, but then found that when I'm going into uni or if I'm going into work or doing any sort of things outside the house, unless I took this piece of paper with me, I had no way of actually knowing what I needed to do. Then I tried going to Notes, and obviously this is a great app because it's on everyone's phone. But what I found really annoying was that I was either having to repeat tasks that I was doing every single day in a new note app, or I was just getting overwhelmed with about 1,000 notes from every to-do list that I was making each day. Then I found Todoist, and Todoist is a great app. It's my personal favorite for to-do lists and organizing your time through that. I went over in my last video about how I actually put all my thoughts into Todoist and organize them into sections of my life so I know and can keep track of what's going on. And this was great, but I knew that this still wasn't perfect because I was still using the calendar and to-do list separately and both quite ineffectively. So what the game changer with me was actually using the Todoist Google Calendar integration, which synced both of these and made life just so much easier for me. Now, to set up the integration, you got to go onto the website of Todoist to get it all implemented in. So where you want to go is you need to go up into your profile and then go into settings. Now in settings, you want to go all the way down to integrations down the bottom. Into integrations, scroll down to the Google Calendar legacy, and then you want to press connect calendar. And then it'll come up with connecting to your Google Calendar. You can choose which calendar you want to use. So you can either use your primary calendar that you might have already started using on your own account, or you can use a completely new one in Todoist. So I'm going to use the primary one because that's the one that I'm just going to set up and use for the rest of the video. For sync, I just put on all projects. That means everything that I get put into either the calendar or Todoist gets synced up all the way through. And this next tab, I'm just going to leave as inbox. What you can do is you can change it into specific projects if you wanted to organize it better. For the Todoist project, I'm going to leave it as inbox just because that's the easiest. You can put it in a custom project if you want to, but that's up to you. The label, this just means that every time when a task is added onto Todoist, it'll have this Google Calendar tag so that you know that it's come from your calendar. Now the next tab here is for when you actually want to add tasks into the Todoist app, which will then sync to your Google Calendar. This can be really useful because when you want to add a task into your Todoist with a time, it will add this as a block onto your Google Calendar. So all this does, it just changes the length of what that block will be when it's on the Google Calendar. So I've set it to 60. Because that's what Google Calendar is normally when you make an event. It normally lasts for an hour, but you can change that to whatever period you want it for. Similarly, on the next one, if you make a Todoist task without a time, or if you make an all-day Google event, then you can decide whether you want to sync these or not, as these without a time will just come at the end of the to-do list. Finally, you can decide when you complete a task on Todoist whether you want to keep that on Google Calendar. I've set this so that it stays on Google Calendar just so then I can go back and I can look back through my calendar to see what I actually have done on each day. And there you go, it's as easy as that. Once you've added in all these settings, you can then press connect, and then your calendar will be connected to your Todoist and you can start setting things up. So now that you've got Todoist set up, you can now start putting things into your calendar to start bulking out your to-do list. So I've got a blank calendar here and I'm just going to go through how I'd set up a calendar from scratch to organize all my tasks for our day. So first thing I want to do is obviously prioritize sleep. So for this one, you can just put in your wake time and bedtime. And this is easy just to keep track of when you actually want to go to sleep. And you can change the color of these down here. You can change it to maybe like go for a graphite, I reckon. That might be a nice one. And obviously we're going to be sleeping every day, so you can set this to daily, and then this will repeat every day nicely. Then once you've had your sleep in, you can add in other things like, say, a morning routine. So this can be for an hour. Again, we can change this to a nice color, and then you can also set this to repeat daily, or you can have it to specific days of the week or at different times. So that then starts fledging out. Say if then you are working from 9 to 5, we can add that in here as well. And then you can add in anything else. So say if you were going to go to the gym between 6 and 4, you can add this in. And it might be that you only go into the gym on certain days. So you can actually customize when the task actually comes up on Google Calendar. So say if I only went to the gym on a Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, I can then add that in, and then that gets saved, and you can see those fledging out there. If you right click on the event, you can quickly delete it, or you can change the color. So I might change that to a nice green, change that to all the events, and then you can add in other things. So you read, and then you might have bedtime here. And we can change that to a nice purple, I reckon. So that's just a very basic form of how you wanted to fit it in. Having a look at my calendar on what I use, this is what I currently use. So obviously mine is very blocked out, where I'm added in multiple different things that I wanted to get done. And that's a very basic form of a calendar. On my own personal calendar, I use the same themes going through it all. So I add in morning routines, I have tasks during the day, and then especially my evenings, I have it blocked out for when I want to fit in training or anything else that I need to do. What can also be really useful is that if you're at work or university or school, a lot of the times you can actually download these timetables and implement those into your calendars too. So what I've done is that I can then toggle on and off my university timetable, so then I know what lectures I need to go to and when. So as you saw on my timetable, I actually don't block out the time I have at uni because I like to put in the actual specific task that I want to do. So when you delete that, this just means you can put in more specific things on when you have them. And again, if you're linking into external timetables, which you can have for lectures, work, meetings, whatever it may be, these can then get imported in to then fledge out what you're actually doing at each time during the day. So there you go. We have a very basic calendar here. Now, when you actually come into Todoist, you can see that all these tasks have now synced into Todoist. So then you have every single section of this available to tick off whenever you come to it. The best part of this as well is that when you come into the upcoming, you have all the tasks for today, and where we set on the Google Calendar to repeat daily or on certain days, you'll have some little arrows next to those points, and then these will get repeated and loaded in on each day so that you don't actually have to put in things that you're repeating during the week, which can save you a lot of time. Now, the way I really like to use this is obviously on a computer, it's quite clunky, and again, you're not always on your laptop or computer when you're at home. So how I get the most of this is actually using the widgets on my phone, so I have a nice way so I can see everything I do. So the best thing to do on here is using the Google Calendar widget. Now, the Google Calendar widget is great because you can then see these tasks that you have coming up as well as the date as well. So the best one to use is the Todoist widget because this allows you to see your upcoming events and you can tick them off when you actually complete your task. Once you've got your widgets on your phone, you might need to go into Todoist just so it updates quickly. And then once that starts loading, you can then go back to your home screen and you can see everything that we actually implemented in our calendar has now come up as a task in our to-do list. And the best thing is that you can add something into Todoist and it will get synced onto your calendar, or what I prefer is you can add something into your calendar and it will then get synced into Todoist. Now this is great because if you want to add in an event in the future, someone's birthday, something else going on that might be further down the line, you can add that into calendar and this will just automatically update and pop up with your brand new to-do list whenever you need to do it. So you can see in here that we've got the times and tasks that we needed to do for today. So once we complete them, we can simply just tick them off and then that gets cleared from your to-do list, which is great. And this is really great for planning your days as well. So what I like to do is in the evenings when I've got a moment or when I'm eating, I normally then come into the calendar app and then I'll look at the tasks that I've got written down on what I need to get done. Say tomorrow I need to make that presentation. I can add that in here straight away. I can then select it might take me 3 hours. I can then save that and then that gets added into that time block. So then when I then come out of here and then update the app, you can then see that that's then been integrated into the to-do list. And then when it comes up here, that will then be ready and waiting for me tomorrow. So then I can just go straight into the day on autopilot, knowing exactly what and when I need to do at what times. If you found this information useful and want to find out more ways to boost your productivity, then click on the first link in the description to check out my private community and coaching to learn more. And as always, love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.